Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into some of the greatest philosophical theories of all time, ideas that fundamentally challenge how we understand our lives. If you've ever stopped in the middle of a busy day and wondered about the very nature of reality, who you really are, or why we do the right thing, well, you are in the perfect place. We're going to use some absolutely incredible thought experiments today to completely reframe the way you see the world. Here is our roadmap for today. First, questioning our shared reality. Then, the puzzle of identity. Third, the price of morality. And finally, finding meaning in the absurd. Let's jump right in.
Part 1. Questioning our shared reality. Let's kick things off by completely breaking the trust you have in your own senses. What if everything you see and hear is just an illusion?
To answer that, we have to travel way back to ancient Greece. In Plato's Republic, Socrates asks us to picture a pretty terrifying scenario. Imagine a cave. Prisoners have been chained there by their necks and ankles since childhood, right? They can only face an inner wall. Behind them is a fire, and between that fire and the prisoners, unseen people are carrying objects. The fire casts shadows of those objects onto the wall. Because these prisoners have never seen anything else in their entire lives, they believe these flickering two-dimensional shadows are the absolute total reality of the world.
This is Plato's famous theory of forms in a nutshell. He's basically suggesting that our entire physical world, everything you touch, see, and hear right now, is literally just a blurred shadow of the truth. True reality, what he calls the forms, can't be seen with your eyes. It has to be perceived through reason and your mind. So, the ultimate goal of a philosopher? Break those chains, escape the dark cave of sensory illusion, and walk out into the sunlight to finally see reality for what it actually is.
But hey, Plato wasn't the only one questioning reality. Fast forward to ancient Taoism. The sage Zhuangzi wakes up from this amazing dream where he was a butterfly just fluttering around, totally carefree. But when he wakes up as Zhuangzhou, a solid human being, he has this massive existential hesitation. He genuinely wonders, was he a man dreaming he was a butterfly? Or is he, right now, a butterfly dreaming he's a man? Wild, right? The whole point Zhuangzi's making here stems from an idea called the transformation of things. In Taoism, change isn't the problem. Everything in the universe is constantly changing. The mistake we make is trying to use our conscious minds to bridge those phases, clinging to this fixed, essential identity. Instead of looking for this one indivisible self that never changes, we should just fully embrace whatever temporary phase we're in right now. When you're the butterfly, be the butterfly. When you wake up as the man, be the man. It's all about accepting your current reality without fighting the continuous transformation going on around us.
Section 2. The puzzle of identity. Because, once we start questioning reality, we inevitably have to turn the mirror on ourselves and ask, who exactly are you?
Think about it. Are you really the exact same person you used to be? This brings us to a classic thought experiment called the ship of Theseus, famously fleshed out by Thomas Hobbes. Imagine a legendary ship. Over the years, the wooden planks start to rot. So, one by one, they're removed and replaced with brand new ones. Eventually, every single original piece of wood is gone. Is it still the ship of Theseus? And Hobbes adds a brilliant twist. What if someone gathered up all those old, rotting planks and built a second ship out of them? Which one is the real ship of Theseus? They definitely can't both be the original.
It's a huge mental tug-of-war between two totally different ways we identify things. On one side, you've got continuity of form. The replacement ship kept its structure, its function, its ongoing history on the water. But on the flip side, you have continuity of matter. The ship built from the rotting wood has the exact physical materials that made up the original. These two ideas pull our minds in completely opposite directions. Now, you might think this is just some dusty old puzzle, but it absolutely still divides people today. Look at this. In recent cross-cultural psychological studies, 71% of people surveyed in Colombia actually chose the ship made of original parts as the true ship. They prioritized the physical matter. Yet in other countries, the majority picked the replacement ship. It just goes to show how incredibly muddy our concept of identity really is.
Okay, but let's say we completely figure out the physical parts. Does knowing the mechanics of a creature mean we truly understand its identity? Philosopher Thomas Nagel says absolutely not. He asks us to imagine what it's like to be a bat. You could picture giving yourself webbed arms, using high-frequency sound signals to fly around at night, and literally hanging upside down by your feet in a creepy attic.
But Nagel drops this incredible insight here. He points out that imagining all that physical stuff only tells you what it's like for you to act like a bat. It completely misses the actual internal subjective experience of the bat itself. The point he's making is that consciousness is profoundly subjective. No matter how much we study the biology of another being, we're stuck inside the resources of our own minds. We can never truly know what it feels like to live another creature's reality.
Moving on to Section 3, the price of morality. Let's shift from the individual mind out to society as a whole and confront the true motivations behind our actions.
Here's the big question: why do we actually treat each other well? To explore this, Plato gives us another legendary thought experiment, the Ring of Gyges. The story goes that a humble, completely average shepherd named Gyges finds a golden ring. He puts it on and realizes it makes him completely invisible. So, what does this humble, nice guy do with absolute freedom from getting caught? He immediately marches to the palace, seduces the queen, conspires to murder the king, and violently seizes the throne.
Glaucon uses this provocative story to push a concept called contractarianism. He basically argues that we only follow fair rules to protect ourselves from each other. He says if you gave that invisibility ring to a highly moral person and a highly immoral person, they'd both end up doing the exact same terrible things. The argument here is that morality isn't inherently good. We only restrain our darkest desires because we're terrified of getting caught and ruining our reputation. The ring didn't corrupt Gyges, it just revealed his true nature when the fear of consequences vanished.
Author Ursula K. Le Guin takes this intense moral dilemma and scales it up to an entire society in her story, The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. She paints a picture of this gorgeous, unimaginably perfect utopian city. Everyone is just blissfully happy, but there's a dark secret. The absolute perfection of this entire city relies on one strict condition. A single, innocent child has to be kept locked in a basement, suffering in total filth and misery. If anyone rescues or even comforts that child, the entire utopia instantly crumbles.
Talk about putting us in an uncomfortable corner, right? It forces us to pit two massive ethical frameworks against each other. On one side is utilitarianism, which actually might justify this nightmare setup. If morality is just about creating the greatest amount of happiness for the most people, the math in Omelas works out perfectly. Thousands thrive at the expense of one. But on the other side, you have deontology. Deontology strictly forbids this kind of math. It says you must follow universal moral rules, and you can never, ever use a human being as a mere tool, no matter how much society benefits. So Le Guin asks us, could you live in that city, or would you walk away into the unknown? And finally, Section 4, finding meaning in the absurd. This brings us to what might be the ultimate question of the human condition. How on earth do we find purpose in a universe that might not actually have one? Philosopher Albert Camus tackled this head-on with a concept he calls the absurd. For Camus, the universe itself isn't absurd. The absurd is actually the friction, the painful collision between our desperate, deeply human need for meaning and reason and the completely indifferent, irrational silence of the world. We demand answers, and the universe just stares blankly back at us.
To really anchor this feeling of futility, Camus uses the tragic Greek myth of Sisyphus. As punishment for defying the gods, Sisyphus is condemned to roll a massive boulder up a steep mountain. But every single time he reaches the very top, the rock just rolls all the way back down to the bottom, dooming him to repeat this utterly pointless labor for eternity.
Now, that sounds like pure, agonizing despair, but Camus flips it entirely on its head. He argues that Sisyphus actually triumphs over his fate precisely by being aware of it. By fully owning his struggle and refusing to cling to false, comforting hopes of salvation, Sisyphus reclaims his freedom. The act of rebelling against the absurdity, the sheer effort of pushing that rock, is enough to find joy. As Camus so beautifully puts it, one must imagine Sisyphus happy.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to carry into your day. We've questioned the shadows on our walls, the physical pieces of our identity, and the heavy price of societal happiness. So ask yourself, are you wearing a ring of Gyges in some small way right now? Are you accepting the suffering of others just to keep your own utopia comfortable? And when you wake up tomorrow, what exactly are you choosing to push up the mountain? And can you find a way to smile while you do it? Thank you so much for exploring these amazing theories with me. Keep questioning everything.